Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. My name is Amy, and I am the CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through my podcasting courses, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. If you like the podcast, you're going to love my online self study course and VIP private podcast. If you would like to learn more and grab your seat, head over to irresistibleicing.com/course. That link is also in the show notes. Welcome back to the Irresistible You podcast. Today, I am sharing with you everything I would do if I wanted to gain back 70 pounds. This is the things that I would start doing again if I wanted to be miserable, if I wanted to gain back all my weight and some more. And we're going to just get into it. This is going to be a little bit of a spin on, your typical, these are the things I would do to lose weight. So before we get into things, just as a little bit of a background, and, you can go back and listen to other episodes because I detailed my journey in great detail throughout these almost 300 episodes. But I am someone who was a chronic yo-yo dieter. I was the epitome of the yo-yo dieter, the gaining, losing, gaining, losing, gaining, losing, getting halfway through a week, halfway through a month, and thinking that I had completely gone off the rails and screwed up and told myself I'd have to start over and then go through the whole ritual of starting over, of eating again and eating everything in sight again. And just an exhausting, oh my God, you guys, just talking about that right now is making me feel tired. It's making me feel just like the mental the mental gymnastics and hell that becomes is awful. And so over the last not couple years, it's been a while, but I finally had gotten to a point where I was done. I was done yo-yo dieting. I was done falling into the same habits every time shit hit the fan, because that's the other thing, right? Every time shit hits the fan, you go back to your old habits. And I was done with that. And so I started to go on my own journey, and that's how I came up with the framework around Irresistible You, and realizing the things that were ultimately missing from any diet out there, any of the toxic diet culture advice that we get, just the whole eat less, move more. And it's like, yeah, that's one component of weight loss, but there's a lot of other things that go into it. So I, in my journey, we've lost and gained weight more times than we can count, but currently I am 70 pounds down from my highest weight. I probably have another 30 that I would like to lose. So that's where I am right now. And sometimes I can still find myself like coming down on myself and be like, oh my God, why haven't you gotten to your goal? And then I see an old picture and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I looked like that. I didn't realize that I've actually look way different. Even though, and you might be, I talked about this recently in an episode where you're like in the messy middle of weight loss, where you're not quite yet where you really want to be, but you are nowhere near where you started from. And so I had this moment the other day. It was like a weird, I don't know if it was like one of those weird mirrors or something. It made me look distorted. It made me look distorted. And when I looked at it, it looked like I had gained back like a ton of weight. And I know that I haven't because I've been the same for like months now. But it got me thinking. It gave me this flash of fear that I used to have. And that flash of fear where you're gaining weight, you're off the rails, you're overeating, you're binging, you're emotionally eating, what you're doing. None of us, it's like we know whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not, but like we know what we're doing. And then you have this fear when you see yourself, whether it's in a mirror, whether it's in a picture, whether it is jumping on the scale because you haven't jumped on the scale in a long time, and you come face to face with the music and you realize, because it's in your face and you can't be in denial, holy shit, here I am again. It is that low moment, that punch in the gut, that, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself. Why am I still here? Why do I keep doing this to myself? And it is the worst One of the worst feelings that you can feel. And if you know, you know. And it had me have this like flash to what that used to feel like. And I thought to myself, I'm not where I ultimately want to be in my body, but I am so far from where I was, leaps and bounds from where I was. And it made me, I mean, obviously I know this, but it was like a reconfirming moment of like, I am never, ever going back. And it's not just like, oh, I'm never going to be like over 250 pounds again. No, it's more about like, I am never putting myself through that fucking hell of the gaining and the losing and the being in denial and not knowing and then not wanting to get on the scale. Just all of those things. Like it's such an unpleasant mental state to be in. And I never want to be there again. I don't. I don't ever want to be there again. So it got me thinking about the episode this week. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody talks about what I would do to lose the weight, but I'm going to put a spin on it. And I want to talk about all the habits and all the things that I would do again if I wanted to go back to being miserable in my own skin. Because that's the other thing, right? I may not be at my ultimate goal, right? I may not be in like the size body that I'm like aiming to be in, but I don't hate myself for it anymore. I don't look at myself and go, oh God, I don't have that disgust that at one point in my life used to exist. And I was probably, and let's be real, some of that disgust came from being even smaller than I am now. So we got one life to live. We have one body to be in. So you either make the most of it and come to agreement and terms with yourself, or just do something about where you are. And so let's talk about this. So if I wanted to gain back 70 pounds, this is my step by step guide. Do not try this at home. But if you want to, hey, you've been warned. If I wanted to be miserable again, these are the things that I would do. And this is the fastest way to gain back all of the weight. So number one thing that I would start doing again is I would start zombie eating. Zombie eating is when you are eating on autopilot, you are not being mindful, you are just stuffing your face, you are not paying attention, you are binging on food, binging on shows, sitting your ass on the couch, not moving, not doing anything but eating, ordering out, hitting the drive-through. At my highest weight, my like before kids pregnancy, my highest weight when I put on a lot after high school, during that time frame, I was hitting the drive-through multiple times a day. I mean, multiple times a day. And then I noticed again about 10 years after that, 10, 11 years after that, when I went through another really big weight gain because I was going through something really tough emotionally in my life. This is before Irresistible You and all that. I started noticing that same behavior. I was hitting up guys, I don't eat Taco Bell. I don't like Taco Bell, but I was so bored with the fast food choices that I wanted to keep trying different things and going different places. And when I tell you like the amount that I was ordering, so I was hitting that place up. I was hitting up the Krispy Kreme and ordering a dozen donuts and not bringing them home. Like it was bad. And so what I would do again is I would start zombie eating, and zombie eating is just that. It's like think about a zombie, they just right, they walk around life and they're just looking for their next meal. They're just looking for their next victim, their next brain. They don't have feelings, they don't have thoughts, they don't have emotions, they don't have any conscious awareness. Like they have zero self-awareness. They are just like walking and walking and walking and looking for food and not paying attention to anything else around them. That's their only like that's their mission. That is zombie eating. That is zombie walking through life. So there's zombie eating, there's zombie walking. And they go hand in hand. So it's when you are completely checked out. It is when you are not paying attention to things around you. You're not paying attention to how you're feeling. You're not paying attention to what's going in your mouth. You're just reacting all the time on autopilot. And that's what I would do. I would just start zombie eating. I would stop paying attention. I would stop being mindful. I would stop listening to my body's cues. I would stop listening to my brain. And I would just constantly eat around the clock. That's what I would do if I wanted to start putting the weight back on. So, zombie eating. And let's be clear about this. The reason you're zombie eating is number one, you don't have any self awareness to stop. So, first things first, maybe this is your first time hearing it. And so, this is your first point of entry into awareness that you're even doing it. The other reason is that this is your coping mechanism. This is how you deal with life. This is how you deal with feelings because you don't deal with feelings, right? You don't want to feel things. You don't want to feel the emotions. You want to numb yourself. And think about it like this: we don't sit around and say, I would really like to numb my feelings. I would like to not deal with these things. So I am going to overeat and hit up the Krispy Kreme and the Taco Bell and the McDonald's and all these places all day today. We don't sit there and plan and think about it. It's just a reaction, it's a coping mechanism. And we do it on autopilot. And when we do it enough and enough and enough and enough, it just becomes the knee jerk reaction and way to handle things that are going to shit in our lives. And so that's number one. Um, Number two is I would stop getting on the scale. I would completely stop weighing in. I would stop getting on the scale. I would stop measuring my body. I would stop doing those things. Now, this is the cycle that I would be on: zombie eat, zombie eat, zombie eat, binge, binge, binge. Stay away from the scale, because when you're eating that volume of food, you can physically feel the weight like sucking back onto your body. Your clothes start to get tight. Your jeans are digging into your skin. You can't breathe after you eat. You can't breathe when you're just sitting around. Things are feeling hard. You're feeling swollen. You're feeling bloated. You're feeling inflamed. You know you're putting on the weight, but you're in denial. Denial is a big, big piece of this. So you live in denial, right? And as a part of that, instead of admitting to yourself, you know what, I think I'm gaining back some weight, like this is what's going on, you adapt to it, right? Humans are very good at adapting. It's just in our DNA, it's what we've done for years to survive as a species. We adapt and we evolve. But your adaptation here is that you have adapted to just staying in that denial state. So, what do? You stop getting on the scale. You stop getting on the scale. You stop wearing the jeans that were feeling tight after you eat. You stop wearing things that don't have any stretch to them. And so now you've got a really, really dangerous situation because number one, you have checked out. You are zombied out. You're not paying attention to what's going in your body. You're not paying attention to how you're feeling about things in your life and your body. And now you're not getting on the scale to see what that data looks like, to see where you're at. And you've also started to put on the other piece of data that we have about how we're doing in our weight loss or our weight gain is our clothes. So when you start wearing clothes that are loose and baggy and have a lot of stretch to them that you can literally grow into, now we have the recipe for a disaster. We are checked out, we are overeating, we are binging, we are wearing stretchy clothes, and we're not paying a damn bit of attention to the scale. That is a recipe for disaster. And the more that you stay in that state, the more that you stay in that way of living, the weight is going to pile. I don't mean it's going to cut, it's going to pile and pile and pile. And here's what ends up happening: all of a sudden, you have somewhere to go, somewhere important to be. You have to wear the fancy dress. You have to buy an outfit. You have to get into the shorts for the first time on that first hot day of the season. And you try to put those shorts on and they won't even budge over your knees. I have been there, and it is, talk about one of the most dehumanizing low moments, because at the end of the day also it's so frustrating because the only person that you can point the finger at and blame is yourself. But you don't do that because it's everybody else's fault. It's the world's fault. It's your circumstances' fault. It's because everything fell apart in your life, and you point the finger over and over and over again, and you never take any responsibility, right? So I'm kind of covering a couple areas here. So number one is I would zombie eat. Number two, I would stop getting on the scale, because when I don't get on the scale, I don't have to face reality. And when I don't have to face reality, I can continue to live in denial. I can continue to act like this isn't a problem. I can continue to act like there's no consequences of my zombie eating. So the third thing, and I kind of already talked about this, is the third thing that I would do is I would wear stretchy clothes. I would just throw out anything with a waistband. I would throw anything out with a button. I would stop wearing jeans are the thing. I would stop wearing the jeans. I would stop wearing denim. I would stop wearing like, tailored fitted pants. I would stop wearing things that would give me a very clear indication that they're uncomfortable if I was putting a weight on again. Because again, these are all points of data, right? We on this podcast, we do not agree that the scale is the end all be all judge. It is not. It is one piece of the puzzle. And I would just start wearing all the stretchy clothes. And I remember that very clearly. Like, there was a time when I was younger, like when I gained the majority of my weight, straight out of high school into college, and I started wearing like stretchy skirts, and I still had my heels on. I still had everything done, my hair, my makeup. But I would just say like, "Oh, I just love to dress up," which I do. I love to dress up. But at this point, the reason why I wasn't wearing jeans is because none of my jeans fit. And you have to remember, this was 2000 into 2001 era. um 2000, 2001, and we didn't have the internet like today. You didn't go online and order an outfit and have it at your house tomorrow. You had catalogs, you had 800 numbers, you had the mall, and the mall only had what they had. And if you were plus size, that didn't cater well to you. Like there might be a couple things hanging in a store and they were in the back of the store in the women's section, or they were upstairs at Macy's, and it was this humiliating, degrading, dehumanizing process, right? So there weren't a lot of options for clothes. There really weren't. And I remember just gaining, to where when I finally was like, I just want a pair of jeans, and I couldn't find a pair of jeans in my size because I think at that time I was up to a 20 or 22. And, just, oh, it's bringing up so many memories right now of what that feels like to not recognize your body in the worst way. There's not recognizing your body when you're going down the scale, and that comes with its own like um things that you're going to have to like work through, but it's all in a positive way. When you're going up the scale and you just feel heavy and you feel awful and you feel gross and you feel bloated, and then nothing looks good in your mind when you're putting it on. It just doesn't. So I would start wearing stretchy clothes. I would start wearing stretchy clothes all the time. So that way I wouldn't know if I was gaining weight. I would do that. I would also, I kind of touched on this already, but I would just be in denial about all of it. I would choose to just deny. I would deny that it's happening. I would act like it's not happening. I would deflect. I would deny. And that's what we do. We get into that state and we're like, oh, I just like wearing these clothes. I just like wearing these stretchy pants that don't flatter me, that don't do shit for my figure. I just like to wear this. I tell the story where I had these boots. They were like ankle, a little bit higher than the ankle, and I would wear them to go to the club. And I was rocking them halfway zipped, you guys. This is so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I would wear them halfway zipped up and just say, I'm like starting a new style, and have this like attitude about it, right? Like just trying to own it. Like I'm just starting a new style, and this is how I like to wear them. No, bitch, they wouldn't fit over your fat ass ankles. That's the problem. That was the problem. They wouldn't fit over my ankles. But I would go around and tell the story that, this is what I like to wear. That is the ultimate denial of what's happening in your life, right? So I would just constantly like sit around and live in denial if I wanted to gain back all the weight. I would act like everything's fine. I would act like everything's perfect. And I would act like I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm fine. This leads me into the next thing that I would do is I would fully embrace the entitled fat girl syndrome. You're like, what? The entitled fat girl syndrome is one of our glossary terms here on the podcast that we talk about. And the entitled fat girl syndrome is I deserve it. I deserve to overeat. I deserve this because I have a hard life. I deserve this because I had a hard day. Using food as a reward, as if it owes me something, as if the world owes me something. So I would fully just fall into the entitled fat girl syndrome. And I would tell myself, well, everyone else gets to eat like this. How come I can't? Everybody else gets to do this. And how come I can't? And I think, the denial thing about the boots and like having an attitude about it when anyone was like, why are you wearing your boots like that? And having a complete attitude about it is completely entitled fat girl syndrome of like, well, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you wearing your boots like this? Because I'm embarrassed that my boots actually don't fit, right? So I would embrace the entitled fat girl. I would use the food as a reward for everything going on. I would act like I'm special because this is the thing about entitled fat girl syndrome. We act like we are the only person in the entire world that has to deal with life. We act like we're the only person in the entire world that has problems. We act like we are the only person in the entire world that has it hard. Newsflash, you're not. Newsflash, love you, but you're not unique in that way. Okay. You're unique in your ways. You are not unique in the sense that you have a lot of shit to deal with. You are not unique in the sense that you have a cross to bear. Every single one of us has a cross to bear at some point in some way in our lives. And this entitlement, this I deserve it. How about you deserve to treat yourself with respect? How about you deserve to not talk shit to yourself? How about you deserve to take yourself to a salon? How about you deserve to find clothes that fit, that aren't stretchy, stretchy big mama clothes? Okay, like that's what we deserve. You don't deserve to reward yourself with food when you're already miserable because of the food. That's the entitled fat girl syndrome. The other thing that I would start doing heavily again is I would have so many inner fat bitch conversations. And let's be clear, they are not conversations, they are digs. They are like, just let's just duke it out, drag it out, like let's just go at it. The inner fat bitch is that voice that says, who cares? So it goes hand in hand with entitled fat girl syndrome. It's like, who cares? You're already fat. You're already gaining weight. Who gives a shit? Look at you. You already screwed up on Wednesday. You might as well fuck it up until Monday morning. And I'm talking about fuck it up. Fuck it up all the way. Pure fuckery. Let's go. Let's get it. That is the voice that is just constantly belittling you, telling you you're useless, telling you you're worthless, telling you, yeah, eat it, eat it, eat it. Um, it is full on negative self-talk. You are disgusting. And then it comes into every facet of your life. It's like you go to an event and people aren't talking to you, or they're not giving you the response that maybe you wish that they were giving you, or you think that they should be giving you. Everything is because you're fat. Every single problem that you have, you blame it on being overweight and fat. And the inner fat bitch confirms it over and over and over. You stand in front of the mirror and you pinch your fat rolls and you look at yourself and you want to puke and you feel disgusted and you talk shit to yourself. I would just go in. I would have a love affair with the inner fat bitch if I wanted to gain back all 70 pounds and more. Let's be clear, and more. I would completely just go in on that. So that inner fat bitch is just, it is so belittling. It is so disgusting. And we do it to ourselves because while we put on a hard front of like, I'm entitled, I should be able to deserve this, we also don't think we deserve anything. It's what I just said. You don't think you deserve the things that I just listed, okay? Because of all of that. So I would have a full-blown love affair with the inner fat bitch. I already told you I would live in stretch pants. We talked about that. I would ditch the jeans, anything structured. I would stay in leggings 24/7. And yeah. Let's see what else. I would stop doing my makeup. I would start looking like a piece of shit all day long. I would stop doing my makeup. I would stop getting my nails done. I would stop pulling myself together. I would stop trying to look cute. I would stop wearing jewelry. I would stop wearing perfume. I would stop taking care of my teeth. I would stop going to doctor's appointments. I would stop all forms of self-care in that way. Because I'm obese. Who gives a shit what I look like? I obviously people don't think I care what I look like because I've gained this much weight. So why should I care? Why should I stop putting a wrapper? Why should I stop putting a bow on the present that looks like shit? That's the mindset here, right? So here's the thing. When we give up on our glam and we stop taking care of ourselves, even though we are morbidly obese, that outer neglect that outer neglect is a very clear indicator of the inner neglect that's going on. It is not about vanity. It is not about trying to be the prettiest person in the room or this and that. Outer neglect is a sign of ultimate inner neglect, because here's what I know and what I've learned, and I know this to be true 1000%. When you look good on the outside, and by looking good, we mean in our own way. We're not comparing, we're not judging, we're not doing any of that dumb bullshit 90s stuff. When we look good, we feel good. And when we feel good, we do good. When we know we look like the shit when we walk out of the house, guess what? We're nicer to people. We stand up for ourselves. We put in for things. We go after things. It is a chain reaction. And in the same way is when you look like shit, you feel like shit, you do shit. You don't do shit, rather. Okay? When you look like shit, you feel like shit, you don't do shit. Here's the example. I got to go to Walmart, get some things from the store. Okay. I've gained 100 pounds. Okay. I already do not like the way I look physically. I don't feel good. I feel just all the things that come with the weight gain. Roll out the house, undone hair, no makeup on, no skincare, no jewelry, no perfume, no nails, no cute glam going, nothing. I go to the store, I'm already embarrassed how I look. And I don't have anything else to like help boost me up physically because I didn't take care of myself. I rolled out the house looking like shit. When I'm at the store, I'm gonna like, if you're watching on YouTube, you get it. I'm like hunched over, looking at the ground. I don't really talk with any authority or conviction or confidence because I don't want to draw attention to myself. I don't want anyone to notice me. Because I'm so big, you can't help but notice me, but I don't want to draw any extra attention to myself. So I shrink myself down. I don't have any confidence. I don't have any conviction. I don't have any like just and then that comes out in your actions, right? That's the way you're reacting. That's the way you're acting in the store. So then if something in the store happens, let's say you're in self checkout and you double scan. Everybody's double scan the things, right? So you double scan and you don't want to deal with anyone. You don't want anyone's attention on you. So you don't even hit the button to tell the clerk to come delete the thing off your thing. So you're sitting there paying for shit you don't have to pay for. Something happens in the store, you need help or whatever. You're not asking for help. You're not raising your hand. You're not going to get anybody. Or somebody talks like shit to you. You don't stand up for yourself. It's just a vicious cycle. So whether I was still 270 pounds or 190 pounds or 170 pounds, I would put my makeup on. I would get my nails done. I would put my jewelry on. I would put on a cute top. I would put on a cute outfit. I would wear clothes that fit me now. And I would take care of myself. If I wanted to quickly gain back the weight, let it rip. Take it all off. Look like shit. Stop doing your nails. Stop doing your feet. Have some scruffy ass heel. Get you some scratchy, scruffy heels, girl. Okay? And stop shaving your legs. Stop doing all. Oh, just don't do any of that. Who cares? Don't do any of that. And here's what happens when you look like shit, you feel like shit, you start eating shit. You see the pattern here? When you look like shit, you feel like shit, you eat like shit. So you've already got the stretchy clothes on. So it's like you're not going to feel the pain and the misery of overeating. So we're good there. We already don't have our hair done, our makeup done, our jewelry on, or none of those things. So it's like you're becoming a shell of who you were. You're becoming a shell of who you were. So whether you're 300 pounds or 100 pounds, I need you to put your makeup on, to get dressed, and act like Even if you don't have it yet, act like you got some damn confidence in yourself because outer neglect is a symbol of inner neglect. So if I wanted to gain back all my weight, I would just start dressing like shit and just completely not take care of myself. And so this goes into like, the hair, the makeup, the nails, the jewelry, but also when we talk about self-care, it is the showers. People will stop taking showers on a daily basis. It happens. People will not go to their doctor's appointments because they don't want to get on the scale. They don't want to be seen. And they sure as shit don't want to have to hear that they are now morbidly obese and that possibly that their medical condition is tied to their weight. And let's be very real. We all know that doctors are going to tie your medical condition to your weight, whether it is a part of it or not, because they are judgmental assholes. Not all of them, some of them. So I would just give up on myself completely, my physical appearance and my self-care. I would just give up. I would stop worrying about it. I would stop going to the doctor. I would stop, we are like a vehicle. We need to have maintenance. We need to, here's your car, right? You got a car. You got to take your car to the car wash. You got to clean the inside. You got to clean the outside if you want to keep your car nice for a long time and you don't want to drive around in a hoarder trash pit. We got to take care of the outside. We got to take care of the inside of the car. We also have to take care of under the hood. You have to get oil changes. You have to get your tires rotated. You have to get, I'm not a car expert. I'm not going to get into all that. But you know what it takes to maintain a car. Your body is the same way. If you want to be the beat up car driving down the road with the missing paint patches all over the shit, screeching and screeching and making noise all down the interstate, be my guest. Okay. I would just completely let myself go. So that's one of the other things. If I wanted to gain back the weight, I would absolutely let myself go and not give myself any glimmer of glam or confidence whatsoever. We talked about living in denial. Living in denial also is avoiding pictures, avoiding mirrors, avoiding reality. Like we talked about that part, but like I didn't really touch on this, but it's also avoiding life. Maybe that's its own category, honestly. Like avoiding life, right? Not going places. Let's call this isolation. Isolating yourself and from others. So isolating yourself is people are going to the theme park or the water park, it's summertime right now, and you're just like, nope, not going to that. And the reason you're not going is you're terrified of being in the heat. You're terrified of having to wear shorts. You're terrified of the walking. You're terrified of the weight limits on the roller coasters. So you live in denial, like, oh, I just don't like those places. I just don't want to go. Entitled fat girl syndrome. Hello. Um, you avoid mirrors. So you will so here's a great example. We all have to get naked when we get in the shower, right? Getting naked is the ultimate sign of looking at our body and seeing like, whoa, what's going on here? So to get into the shower, you quickly take your clothes off and you run to the shower. You take a fast shower because, again, you're not really investing in taking care of your body and doing the full skincare and the exfoliating and the full shaving and all the things that make you feel pretty and smell good and all the things in the shower. But also, it's not just that. It's because you don't want to be there by yourself in the shower with your naked body any longer than you have to be for a couple of reasons. Number one, your inner thoughts are popping. We all know, like, there's a whole joke in the corporate world, right? That we get the best ideas in the shower. Why? Because we're not distracted. We're not distracted with our phones and our screens and all the noises going on. We have time to reflect and think. That also means we might be thinking about things that we don't love about ourselves, and we're face to face with our naked body. And so there's that piece. It's quiet, and I have to now deal with my thoughts that I've been numbing down by zombie eating. Number two, I don't want to touch the fat rolls, and because now you're as vulnerable as you can be. If you have to loofah up and exfoliate and do all the things and you're touching your body, like there is no denying. There is no denying what has happened. There's no denying. You can feel it. You can see it. You can grab it. Like it's just there. It is all there, literally, no pun intended, just hanging out. Okay. So then you shower as fast as you can. So again, it goes back to you're not fully taking care of yourself in the way that you should, in the way that you deserve. You quickly turn off the water, grab the towel, grab the big robe, and get the hell away from the full length mirror. So you are That is a example of living in denial when you've gained too much weight. So you avoid the scales, you avoid mirrors, you avoid God knows you know you're avoiding the pictures, or you're like purposely putting yourself in the back, or just so many different things that can go into denial. That I mean, this could really become a series, honestly. Like there's so much to talk about here, but these are the things that I would definitely start doing if I wanted to go backwards and gain back 70 pounds and go back to feeling miserable and like a prisoner in my own skin. I would start doing these things. But we know that you don't want that. We know that you don't want that for yourself. So don't do these things. It goes without saying, but seriously, like if you're doing these things and you're nodding your head as I'm saying it in this episode, and you're like, "Oh my god, I do that all the time," or "I need to break that habit." This is your sign. This is your sign to stop. And yes, we are force fed with the advice of eat less, move more, and now it's eat less, move more, take the shot and you'll be okay. Do I take the shot? Yes, I do. But I established these habits and these principles way before the tirzepatide ever came into my life, which is why it has worked for me also. Because the shot is not going to fix you. Eat less is not going to fix you. You have to work on losing the emotional weight. And so you need to have a framework to help you just do that. And so if you don't even know where to start, what I would suggest, you're hearing the podcast, that's amazing. But if you want to take it a step further and put this into real action, I would suggest that you go ahead and sign up for my online self-study course. In my course, you also have access to a private VIP private podcast. So just like this podcast, you have it in your podcast player, and it is literally the entire self-study course in multiple episodes. So you can listen to it on the go anytime. Once you sign up for this, you also have lifetime access. So you can go back and listen to it over and over and over and over again. And it gives you the tools and resources that you need to break out of the diet culture and do the other things that they're not telling you that you need to do in order to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. So, all right. Um, Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. Please head over and leave a rating and review. Whether you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment down below. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and review, or whatever podcast player that you are on, if it provides review opportunity. You can connect with me on Instagram and TikTok. I am at Irresistible Icing on both platforms. Until next time, I will see you then. Until next time, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.